back to the Marvel Movie Minute, a daily podcast in which we smash apart the films of the Marvel Cinematic Universe into 1-minute chunks so we can analyze them in scrupulous detail. I'm Kyle Olson from the Road to Infinity podcast.
Hey, and I'm Rob Cabasco. And Kyle.
Yes.
Do you remember the movie Swordfish?
I do remember Swordfish with the ball bearings and the Hugh Jackman distraction scene.
There is that. That was notorious. When that movie came out, notorious. Well, I'm not even going to get into that, right?
No.
So 2001, crime thriller, John Travolta, Hugh Jackman, Halle Berry, Don Cheadle, Sam Shepard, a whole bunch of people.
That movie, I wish that movie was as good as that cast list.
And I also wish it was as good as it was hyped to be.
Oh, yes.
Because, right? And what is it? It's a crime thriller involving hacking, computer hacking, crazy action sequences. But my favorite part of that movie continues to be the first 10 minutes.
Yes. It never gets better than that.
It's just watch the first 10 minutes. It's on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
You begin with this incredible movie monologue by John Travolta's character.
Yep.
Talks about movies and everything else. Goes into this very tense hostage standoff. But one of the things that I find really amazing about this moment is, and not spoilers, you can go, because we're telling you to go find it for this reason.
Yeah.
There's a hostage scene where a hostage is loaded with explosives. They try to get her out. She's in the middle of the street. She explodes. But it is one of the most, I don't want to say realistic, but it is one of the most epic looks at sound concussion in a movie.
Okay.
Where when you see big things explode in movies, typically it's a big explosion, but there's no shattered windows everywhere, right? You don't usually see that. This is one of the movies where, no, you understand big explosions have a concussion to them.
Yes.
That blows things out and blows people over and causes destruction.
Yeah.
Well, that has something to do with this minute.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Because we get into a little of that towards the end of minute 55 of 2008's Incredible Hulk, directed by Louis Leterrier. Before we get to that point, we pick up where we left off, which is the standoff between the Incredible Hulk and Captain of the Colonies. I was trying to figure out what a British version of Captain America was that wasn't Captain Britain, because there already is a Captain Britain.
Right.
That was as close as I came. So I remember when this movie came out, watching this scene and loving it, thinking we're seeing a sneak preview of what Captain America is going to be. Because at the time we watched this in 2008, we knew there was a Captain America movie coming, and now here we have a soldier who's been with the super soldier serum, who's now doing superhero fighting, and this is the first time we've ever gotten to see that. I mean, Iron Man was in the suit. This is a guy just doing this stuff.
Just a guy.
Yeah, I mean, so at the time it was like, oh, can you imagine how awesome Captain America is going to be if this is what they're doing now? And it turns out we were right.
And we were right. Can you imagine if he had picked up one of these shards of metal and used it as a shield?
I was
That's incredible. That would have been amazing
been a
foreshadowing.
Great moment, but it's like they were trying to make their own thing and stuff too. So we have Emil, when we last left him, was at the top of this sculpture as the Hulk was there, and he was bang, 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 bang. More bullets. He was using his Sig Sauer sidearm to shoot the Hulk in the face, but it wasn't doing anything. So then Hulk has finally had enough, or the clip was empty, and he makes his move. And so Blonsky does this amazing vault from the top of it all the way over the Hulk, still shooting as he lands on the thing. And this was really done. They actually did this. So this is Tim Roth's stunt double, Cyril, doing this actual stunt. It's wire work. So he goes from the top and he vaults over the thing and lands on the ground. Obviously, he's on a harness, but this is once again stuntman doing his thing.
Now, interesting when you said this, because when you go through it, and I stopped one of the shots.
Yeah.
It looks a little wonky, actually. And again, we're stopping something in full motion.
Yeah.
And I thought, initially I'm like, well, that's some weird CGI because he's turned into like a salamander looking thing. No, that's actual physical motion blur for this swoop.
Yeah.
Right.
And obviously there's layers of stuff they put over it too. So there's probably a certain element of that too. But yeah, he literally did that leap from the top of it. As he did the run up to it, he did the leap down. So shout out to Cyril. And like I say, District B13 and its sequel, if you want to see more of him in action without being his own stunt double. It's a pretty good French action movie.
Well, and this is pretty good too in that he has the same stature, the same build, and even they might have done a little bit of CGI trickery, like his head and everything. This is very believable very in line with Tim Roth.
Yeah. You really wouldn't like if you didn't know. You really think that really is Tim Roth that did the job. And so so then he's continuing on to like he has the gun, so why not shoot it? But this is where it's really cool. So the Hulk is sort of like this really annoying gnat of a soldier. Like, how have I still not smashed this guy? And goes after him. And Emil does this amazing sequence of dodging all of the as the Hulk is like has these pieces of metal like on his arm, these shield things that he's smashing into the ground, and Emil is just dodging and leaping it over, and even Ross is impressed. My God, he's doing it! Right. Like, and so at the same time you're like, oh my God, that's like a soldier is going toe to toe with the Hulk and living. Like, he's not making progress, like he's not making damage to the Hulk, but he's alive.
He hasn't died immediately.
Right. It's the longest anyone's ever gone, physically toe to toe with the Hulk. Wow.
It's the great thing. It's the realization that not being instantly dead is a win.
Yeah. and even Ross is like, hey, it actually worked. One of my plans actually worked.
So do you find it interesting? Like, and they don't, and there isn't. I'm not alluding to anything that's not here. Mm-hmm. There's no indication on the Hulk's part. It would have been interesting to put in a moment of the Hulk going, huh? Like,
yeah. You can see he's getting more frustrated.
He's getting frustrated.
But yeah, the confusion would have been good.
Because this should be the first time this Hulk has ever not done whatever he's wanted, right? And everyone run.
And had just anything other than just a regular, ordinary person get in his way. Yeah. Because obviously there was a missing period that we know that there were some other adventures happen. But we see, so the Hulk is trying to slam down, and then he slams a piece of metal down right there, and then Blonsky plants his feet and shoots himself backwards off of it. Oh God, I love this one. By my favorite minute so far.
This is and also not to reference a future movie, the future character. He pulls the Star-Lord move.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah, that's right.
That's really what it is.
Sliding out of the way.
Slide on the ground away from the danger. It's really well done. Yeah. It's a great action sequence.
I would say that I think Star-Lord was doing the Blonsky move. That's right.
Oh, that's a new thing now.
That's right. I'm trying to where it lines up in the timeline. Right. But yeah, he's trying over and over again to try and get this little guy, and he just cannot get him. And then Ross then gets on the comms and says, "Move him towards the cannons." And once again, Blonsky, being the good soldier, like he's like I'm doing all right here. I could really do some stuff. But he goes, "All right, I'll continue on with my plan." And so he's and then basically like, "Okay, Hulk, chase me." And so like, oh, come on, chase me. Turns and then starts running away, and we know he's a really good runner. So we see him go on there, and then Operation Dukes of Hazzard is still in effect. We have both of the Humvees with the weapon, some kind of weapon we don't know exactly what it is yet, the cannons, come leaping out over the hedges again. Like obviously they brought their ramps again. Now, since we recorded the first one where Blonsky comes running in, and now I know how they did this, so I can go back through. Before I had a suspicion, and turns out my suspicion was correct.
Yay.
He is on a wire rig. So there actually are multiple wires on him. There's a rig that's holding him off the ground, and there's a rig that's on his chest that's pulling him forward. So the actor's job is don't touch the ground, keep your back straight, and keep pumping your legs, and it'll look fine. But there's on the Blu-ray, there's multiple versions of him not being able to keep all of this going because and then he said as once I got that I was standing up straight, once I got that my feet were continuing to move and I was doing it at the right rate, then I remembered, oh, wait, I'm an actor. I have to be acting, too, because you have to keep the expression on his face. Has to not be, okay, do this thing, then this thing, and this thing. You have to be like, oh, yeah, I'm Blonsky running away or towards the Hulk. So it was a hard thing. But they showed a couple times doing it, and I thought, that effect looks familiar. And it turns out it was developed for, do you know where?
No.
The original Superman movie when Clark is racing the train.
Oh, what?
Yes. So that Clark running alongside the train, the same technology. Almost identical. There's a rig above him that's keeping him up off the ground, and there's a rig in front of him that's pulling him forward at almost 40 miles an hour. And so the actor's job is basically don't let your feet touch the ground, because if anything stops it, you're gonna be skipped like a stone. So you have to basically just keep your feet running, and then they'll do stuff with the speed of how they're looking, and it looks great. And it still looks great.
Well, 30 years, right, between Superman and this,
right? And actually they do a variation of this in Civil War too. So I mean, like it's still it continues on. Like it's poor man's process. Like sometimes the early stuff is still the best way to do things.
Now I will point out the one flaw,
okay,
which for me, one of the things that I don't like about this effect is that okay, once you've suspended someone off the ground,
yes,
you no longer now have the motion up and down of your torso and your head, impacting on the ground,
right. Yeah.
That bugs me.
And there's a little bit of like you can see a little bit with the clothing, like you can see that, like you can see kind of like where they remove the wire. It's pulled up a little bit.
Well, especially there is one shot of him that's pretty clear. Yeah. See, now I miss the natural up and down motion that your body would have as you took each step and as you went from going over the ground to then impacting the ground.
Yes,
that seems to be a little missing to me.
True.
But I mean, it's an effect. It works. It does what it needs to do.
It does what it needs to do. Yeah.
So what's going on.
You're not going to do it for more than a couple of seconds.
Right.
You're not going to have like a full 5 minutes shot of them doing that. It's just like you get 2 to 5 seconds of it.
So in the midst of all this happening, just even because this is all happening so fast, as those Humvees now have, these new Humvees have just done their leap. There's a couple things that we can call back to the credits of the movie.
That's right, because we saw this exact configuration in the opening sequence, and it was under Stark Industries.
It's a Stark Industries special.
That's right.
And we know we not necessarily know what it is yet, but we know that we've seen this vehicle.
Yes.
So we saw it in like minute 2 or minute 3 of the movie. But heavily hinted as to what it is, because what it looks like is the world's biggest subwoofer strapped on top of a Humvee.
That's right.
So I kind of get
like okay, I see where this is going.
Either we're about to play some horrible music at the world's biggest beach party, or something else. And now enjoy Rage Against the Machine. Yeah, whatever we use when we want to get people out of a building, right? Yeah, so no, you see that, and I think it's immediately this is good design in that you can assume what is going to happen here. As soon as you see this vehicle come into view. Yeah, so they basically are getting themselves in position. So Blonsky is now running at them. The Humvees are coming towards him, and the Hulk is chasing him. I don't even think the Hulk is aware that the other Humvees are going. Plus, what's he worried about Humvees? He's already taken out 3. Yeah, what can you do? Yeah, so what can these things possibly do? So then we have Blonsky blow past the most ineffective soldiers of all. Like, hey, we all got our pistols, sir. Yeah, this is all pistols. They all have pistols. you got nothing. Really, you guys have no point in this at all. But I think they show the speed too, as he just like completely just ghosts by them. And so then he gets in position, and he calls a little too early. Yes. He says, "Do it." Yeah, that's it. I had to get ready for the do it. So he goes. Obviously, he yells it out. That was the Emperor from Episode 3 of Star Wars. Well, not quite the Emperor yet. Oh, he's not the Emperor yet. Should I call that out? Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So then he calls out, "Do it now!" And they fire off what turns out to be sonic cannons. And so they blast him, but he's not quite clear of the blast zone. So Blonsky actually gets lifted up and knocked to the side. It wasn't anything. Obviously, sonic cannons would just be pure sound. I think this is much more, because of Stark Industries, a little bit of repulsor tech. Right. Yeah, I think a little bit of repulsor tech in with the sonic. I think there's a sonic element to it. But this when I see this much more feels like what I think it would be when Tony Stark is using his, his hand blasters, essentially. Right. Like that. This is the kind of like that. That's it's force in addition to sonic stuff too. And you know what? It works. Oh, it totally works. Like, I mean, it hits the Hulk, and whoa, holy cow, something stopped him in his tracks. So this technology, again, not to go too far ahead into the MCU. I say you pointed this out to me, so I was hoping you would bring this up. There is a movie that uses this technology, Spider-Man: Far From Home. Yeah. And they've actually connected this. the part of the technology that is used to create some of the things, not spoiler, right?
Yeah.
Things that happen, some of the illusions are exactly tied to this technology, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a nice little way of them connecting this film, which obviously a lot of times gets totally ignored, to bring this sort of back into the proper MCU.
But you do love this whole, the effects here are Blonsky taking his leap a little too soon.
Yep.
Him getting knocked out of frame by this. So you've got the effect. You can see the optical effect of the concussion, the audio concussion coming out of the cannon. You see him get pushed out of the way, and then we lead to what is the big crazy great shot of the Hulk getting really almost knocked on his rear.
Yeah.
From this.
Yeah, the shields are almost, he has to struggle to even hold on to those. I mean, it really hits him hard, and in a way we have not seen anything hit the Hulk hard. Closest would be the grenades from Blonsky's grenade launcher. But yeah, the Hulk is, and even this is the nice thing. Seeing the reaction of a quote unquote ordinary human, but just like a person, what they would happen to be, and Blonsky on the ground getting pulled back by the force of it, and then screaming and covering his own ear. I mean, he is in physical pain too. So you can only imagine what the Hulk is going through too. So interesting note that they point out in the commentary. So you know whose idea sonic cannons were?
Oh no,
Edward Norton.
Really?
Yeah, the director wanted to do. He was thinking originally it was glue, they were going to have surrounded do some sort of gel thing, like we see in The Incredibles.
Oh yeah.
Or then his next thought, anti-gravity. They're going to basically, if you can't run, you can't punch. So, they were going to have, 3 beams around him lifting him off the ground. And so when they were talking about developing this, and obviously, as we know, Edward Norton did a rewrite of the movie. He was saying, that's too far. That's too far into sci-fi stuff, too. We need to keep it more grounded. What about sonic cannons? And then they're like, oh, yeah, okay. So it's the same kind of idea of a mounted thing, a technology thing that's, attacking Hulk, but it's different than what they originally had designed. So shout out to Edward Norton for...
Well, yeah, because the glue?
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
super adhesive, whatever they call it. Adhesive X. I mean, that's a Marvel thing. That's a Zemo thing.
I mean, that's just so... I mean, yeah, that's got problems all over it, right? Yeah. And comedy more than anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can see the whole gravity levitation sort of. No, we're not ready for that.
No,
that's
especially if you had that technology, this is not what you'd be using it for.
No. No, I like the sonic cannon use.
Yeah,
I think it's a great. Not only is it okay. It's
just outside the realm of what we could do.
Enough realism,
yes,
to where you believe.
Yeah,
and a really cool effect.
Yeah. Yeah, so, it looks great. Just the ripples, and you can see it rippling across his body. Yeah, it looks really great. And so it looks like that's where it ends. I mean, they beat him, right?
We go to a shot, sort of over the left shoulder of a Hummer.
Yeah,
and we see the Hulk kind of agonizing in pain.
Yeah,
and that's it.
That's it. So I think they beat him, right?
Well, what I would assume is that through the storm clouds, a couple helicopters come and they have a big walnut shell, and then they just drop the walnut shell on.
I would assume at minute 56 would then be administering Ipecac and getting him to try and vomit up the drive. That's what 56 is, right? It has to be. So, but I guess you'll have to find out by tuning in to our next episode. In the meantime, we're here to not only upgrade your trivia knowledge, but upgrade your wardrobe as well, because we have Marvel Movie Minute and the Next Reel inspired clothing. We got our logo. We put on all kinds of stuff, plus some really fun designs that I think the listeners of the show will really enjoy. You can find out more at going to thenextreel.com/merch and seeing what we have on offer. We'll see you back here for minute 56. We hope you had a smashing good time. Until next time, true believers.
Bye.